Quickly gets rid of it. It's caught. It's a touchdown.
We're celebrating general aviation in the state of Wisconsin.
When asked to define the qualities of a leader, many would emphasize the traditional traits: intelligence, toughness, determination, and vision. Important traits, but today, many of us see our best leaders embracing a passion for mentoring the new leaders around them. They work to build a team culture where everyone works together to succeed to accomplish a goal. They prepare for the changes their business will face in the future. But most importantly, they get the job done. Pete Bunce, President and CEO of the General Aviation Manufacturers Association, gets the job done and more. Pete learned to fly as a teenager. From that first lesson, aviation became an important part of his life. Graduating with honors from the United States Air Force Academy, he entered the Air Force in 1979, formally beginning a 26-year military aviation career. Colonel Bunce has logged over 3,000 flight hours in F-15s and A-10s. He was an International Affairs Fellow at Harvard University and commanded several large operational fighter units, earning air medals for combat time over Iraq. Today, Pete is recognized for his strong leadership at Gamma, advancing the global welfare, safety, regulatory, and political interests of over 140 of the world's leading aircraft manufacturing and maintenance organizations. In January 2010, he was inducted as one of the 70 living legends of aviation. Pete serves on the boards of several aviation organizations. He is committed to the future of aviation, working with several high-profile advisory committees. In May 2015, Pete organized the Arsenal of Democracy World War II Victory Flyover. More than 50 warbirds flew down Independence Avenue, commemorating the 70th anniversary of the Allies' victory in Europe. It was a huge undertaking, one Pete not only saw as a responsibility to our nation, but a way to show what general aviation can do. Let's go back to where this incredible aviation career began, in the skies over Wisconsin.
I think, the two things that happened to me as a young person is I started flying earlier than I can remember, and I was a Packer fan earlier than I can remember, and I've always been that way and will till the day I die. I actually remember on my knees praying to the crucifix in the hall when Starr had the team down on the goal line for the Ice Bowl.
Starr begins the count, takes the snap, he's got the quarterback sneaking, he's taking a touchdown, and the Green Bay Packers are going to be NFL champions for the third straight year.
My roots run very deep in Wisconsin. I was born in Racine, and I was very fortunate that my aunt started flying at a relatively young age, and she worked for Wisconsin Bridge and Iron. And in fact, she was engaged to a guy who said, hey, when we're married, you're going to stop flying. And that was the end of that relationship, because flying was so important to her. But my aunt had 11 airplanes, and at one point in time, and her partner in the business was Bob Huggins, who was a contemporary of Steve Whitman and of course Paul Poporesny. So I got to actually meet those legendary figures as a young person, not realizing how important they are. At the time, they were just great friends of my aunt. She also was wonderful friends with Dale and Dean Kreitz out at Waukesha. And if you recall, Dale always used to fly the Curtis Pusher at Oshkosh and everything else, which I always was amazed at. But she ended up selling off the airplanes, but kept one for me, and it needed some work and obviously new fabric on it. And Dale and Dean did that for me. And that's the airplane that I soloed in first and flew around all over the place in Wisconsin. But during my Air Force career, like I said, I started out being an air-to-air guy. We weren't allowed to say the word bomb in the bar, or we'd have to buy a beer. And so I flew F-15s both in Germany, multiple places in the U.S. Got a chance to be a squadron commander, and at that time I was able to own both the operation, the pilots, but I also owned all the maintenance at that time in my squadron. So that really was such an honor and a privilege to be able to command a large number of enlisted people. And I did things like I went and I told all the pilots that you are going to be basically grounded for a week, because you're going to put on, instead of a flight suit, BDUs, and you're going to go out and work and turn wrenches and be a wrench bender with crew chiefs and everything else on the flight line for a week. And it was just so that we had an appreciation, and especially if we went and overg'd an F-15, the pilots would have to go out and help pull panels and everything else, because there'd have to be an inspection on it. But I just wanted to build that camaraderie. That was one of the neatest things I did, because it just built such a rapport. I got a notice that, hey, you're going to go down to Davis-Monthan and be an ops group commander for 3 squadrons of A-10s and 3 squadrons of C-130s. And I go, wait a second. I'm an air-to-air guy. I can't say bomb in the bar and things like that. And the word came back and said, you need to learn. But then I had been told by, short of being in combat, the coolest thing that you can do as now a colonel was to go and be the deployed forces commander at a red flag exercise, where you had all of these units from all over the world come in and be the boss of the blue forces. You have an orientation day, but then I led the first combat mission. I came back and I used both my heater missiles on F-16s and beat F-16s in a fight and came back. So I am just the hero, and that was the proudest moment in the debrief in front of everybody, showing my gun film and everything. That was a job that, if you could stay young forever, I never would have wanted to give it up. It was the best, most enjoyable, rewarding time around. I mean, when we would have naming ceremonies for new baby pilot, they came through. That was, you had all the squadrons show up at the squadron bar for a big party, and I'll never forget those times. And then I get a call, and from my guys back at Davis-Monthan. This was at Nellis Air Force Base for the red flag, and I had to jump out, go to the Pentagon, and I was interviewed by a 3-star that said, we want you to take over the Air Force House Liaison Office in the House of Representatives. And that was, if I couldn't be flying, it was the most educational and fun job that you could have, because the one thing the military does is they take members of Congress to travel all over the world on, what some people term congressional junkets, but they're fact-finding missions. But also we did things like went up to the North Slope and looked at the potential drilling sites up in the Anwar. And one of the coolest Wisconsin stories I had is we're taking an airplane in, and I come off the airplane first, and I look down, and here is the Native American chief, and he's got a Green Bay Packer hat on. And I go, oh, Packer fan. He goes, yeah, we love the Packers here. And I go, oh, this is wonderful. So I introduced everybody to the chief. We all got on the bus, and we go to the village, and guess what we were all eating? It's brats. And as soon as I got my first brat, I go, these are my people. And it was just fantastic. And so I had a chance to be able to take 2 airplanes of congressional people over to Normandy for the 60th commemoration of the Normandy landings. And the speaker had invited Mr. Bob Michael, who was the House Minority Leader in the Senate for many years. And we took him to Utah Beach, and he kind of walked around, and he was kind of looking at landmarks, and he said, yep, this is it. This is where I came ashore on the second wave. And we were all around him, and you just got this feeling. Oh my gosh. And talking about what it was like there. So those type of experiences will live with me forever. We gave the Pope, or not we, but the Congress of the United States gave the Pope the Congressional Gold Medal, and so we went to the Vatican. And so it was a combined delegation of House and Senate. I was the last one in line, and as I'm passing the speaker, I said, Mr. Speaker, I've been with you all over the world, but this is one of the coolest things. And he goes, yeah, I was pretty nervous going up there too, but you got to go in front of the Pope, kneel in front of the Pope, and he gave you his own blessing. You got to say whatever you wanted to say, and all I'm sitting there, I'm looking in his eyes going, he can see all my sins, and this is good. So I have no idea what I said to this day, but I got a great picture from it. That set me up when I heard about this opportunity at the General Aviation Manufacturers Association that they were looking for a new leader. And I've been doing that for 17 and a half years now. I've been blessed with the most incredible staff in the world, technical experts. We were able to create an office in Brussels. And if you look at it, this is probably the most exciting time in aviation since the dawn of the jet age. And it's just absolutely fantastic to be a part of it.
I talked a little bit earlier about when you call your friends to be able to put something on. And I have the distinct honor of introducing a great friend of mine, David Hartman.
Hi, Pete. David Hartman here. Congratulations on your induction into the Wisconsin Aviation Hall of Fame. You so deserve this honor, and many more will come your way that reflects your day in, day out contributions to aviation, not only in the United States, but around the world. I am personally grateful to you for the projects we have worked on together that on the 70th anniversary of VE Day, you invited me to moderate a panel of 4 of our great military aviators. And then on the 75th anniversary of VE Day, you and your Arsenal of Democracy colleagues supported Scott and Kyle Guyette and me with our documentary that we streamed around the United States and the world. And that program honored all who served in World War II, both overseas and at home. Thank you, Pete, for making those experiences possible for us and so very meaningful for many of us. Again, congratulations, Pete. Very best to you and Pat.